Okay, got a lot of work done tonight. Tell you what, two things stood out to me tonight. Number one, the offensive line. We were down a couple guys, and they were rotating through, and they were playing everywhere, and they were battling. And you know, it's not fun for them, but it's good for them. Learning to play different positions, having to adjust on the run. You see a guy left tackle, right tackle, you know, within a few plays. And so just learning the scheme and learning to play next to each other, I thought that was really good. And then we haven't talked about Emi at all, but you know, I think he's only missed 1 or 2 field goals the entire spring. He hit another 60-yarder tonight. Every time I put him at 60, he's made it. I think he's made tremendous progress, and I think a lot of that has to do with the snap and the hold. You know, the mechanics of kicking a field goal are more than just a guy swinging his foot or swinging his leg. You know, the snap's got to be right. And right now you're seeing Longo putting the laces in the right spot every single time. Jerry worked with Emi, and they adjusted the way the ball's put down on the ground. They tilted it forward a little bit. Jeff Locke came back with a little tip from the NFL to increase the sweet spot, and I think Emi's really hitting the ball well with a lot of consistency. So it was a good night. I mean, it was a good night of practice. Came back after a really great day on Saturday and got some work done. So I like where we're at.
Anything serious with your event hockey?
No. Zach probably won't like me saying this, but he fell down the stairs today. He took a wrong step, and I don't know what he was doing, but his heel slipped off the stairs, and he took a stumble, so he's just got a bruise. He'll be back on Wednesday. And then Caleb, same thing. He felt like it hyperextended a little bit. You saw him over there riding a bike, and he should be back Wednesday as well.
I think there are a few other guys who've gotten injured before we hadn't talked to you about. Johnny Johnson.
I heard his shoulder. He's out for the rest of the spring.
Okay. Both of them?
Both shoulders? What?
Hisako also out.
Who? No, he'll be back Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys worry too much about injuries. Worry about the guys that are practicing, not the guys that aren't practicing. You guys spend way too much time talking about injuries. Jesus.
How do you think Malcolm looked in his reps of tackle today?
I didn't watch him. I'll tell you after I watch the film. You want to call me about midnight, I'll tell you.
Did he get injured?
I have so sick of injuries. It's like that's your crutch. When you don't have a question to ask, you ask about injuries, man.
He asked about someone that was playing, though.
What?
He asked about someone that was playing.
Oh, he was kidding. Who?
I did.
He didn't ask about injuries, though. I'm just giving Ryan crap.
Did you get a chance to watch Posse and Kenny?
You know what? It was like, you guys, I'm sure, could tell. For me, it was like, I didn't know who was who. It was like musical chairs. All I know is they had to move around a lot. And Adrian was back there, you know, going crazy. But they did a good job, you know. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but there's a lot to learn being put in that position. So it was a good practice. Little tussle between Mossy and Ish. You know, forced them to stay back in there. Wanted to see if they could get refocused and play the next play rather than, you know, your typical reaction sometimes is get them out of there. Well, I think we're at the point as a team where, you know, when we find ourselves in those situations, rather than get them out of there, I want to see how fast they can refocus and if they can play the next play. This is when you got to learn those things. And so we forced them to do that, and they played the next play, and it was a good play. You know, those are a couple competitive dudes right there. I mean, Mossy has grabbed everybody's eye. I mean, I know you guys know that. And he puts up a heck of a challenge every time he goes out there. And I think it's great for guys like Ish and Fabes and all those guys. And there's going to be some little dust-ups like that. But if they can get refocused and play the next play, that's a real positive.
With Ashanti and Jerry, do you still kind of see them sort of neck and neck for that spot?
You know, I'm not evaluating the quarterbacks yet. I want to see their body of work, you know, through the entire spring, where they are, and evaluate them at the end rather than on a day-to-day basis. You know, but I think that both of them are improving. You know, I think the guy that we don't talk about enough is probably Mike Faithful. You know, Mike does a heck of a job when he's out there too. He's a good decision maker. He's got a good arm and he's accurate. So to me, it's, you know, all three of those guys are kind of in a cluster, and we'll see who emerges here in the next couple of weeks.
Are you seeing progress from Craig Lee?
Yeah. He in his protection, the way he catches the ball, he's got good bursts through the hole. Yeah, he looks good. You know, I've been impressed with him, and he seems to have a much better grasp of what he's supposed to do now. It's hard for some of those guys that were on the scout team all last year. They went almost the entire year not playing in our offense. You know, now they sat in meetings and they heard the verbiage, but they really didn't get to practice our offense, those scout team guys like Craig. And so now that he's got a couple weeks under his belt, you're seeing him really start to take off.
It's definitely protection, and that comes from individual drills.
What's that? The protection? Yeah, but I'm talking about the assignment.
Right.
Well, I mean, you guys get a first-hand look at Kennedy's individual drills. I mean, he does an amazing job. I mean, he's just got his focus on the fundamentals, his attention to detail is fantastic. You know, he puts them in the positions that they're going to find themselves in practice in the game, and you see it paying off. You know, when you watch the one-on-one pass pro that they do against the linebacker, you know, that gets pretty competitive, pretty violent. And I think you're seeing progress because of those things. Okay?
Thanks, guys.
All right.